Hey everybody, Ellen here at etrailer.com, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Air Lift Front LoadLifter 5000 Air Helper Springs. These are going to be for the front axle on your RV motorhome. Now this is going to be typically for the F53 chassis for several different vehicles. Easiest way to make sure that this is going to fit your particular RV is to go through our fit guide here at etrailer.com, put in your year, make, and model, and then go from there. And the main benefit to getting air springs for your motorhome is that it's going to help to improve the overall ride quality. A lot of times, especially if you first get your RV, that's not really the typical thing that you're looking at. You're looking at all the cool fancy new gadgets inside the motorhome, but then whenever you actually go to drive it, once you get out on the highway, you might notice that it starts to feel like a really big sail. It just kind of feels like you're on this big boat that just wants to rock and sway back side to side, and it can be pretty uncomfortable, especially when you're going at highway speeds and you catch a crosswind or a big truck passes you and it just wants to rock that RV over. So these are going to help to bring that back to a more stable position. These are also going to help to level your RV out, because a lot of times those RV chassis are not really designed to hold all that stuff on top of them. They're just a big bulky mass on top of that frame, and so this is going to help to improve that. You'll be able to level it out side to side as well as front to back and make sure that all your steering geometry is in sync, that you're not leaning off to one side, that the front is not leaning down, and it's just going to make everything feel a lot more comfortable and a lot more safe. Also, typically, if you're having to really fight crosswinds and things like that, this is going to help to alleviate that a little bit with that body sway and body roll and keep driver fatigue to a minimum. Now, if you're having all those issues, some other things you can consider to get with the air springs would be a front sway bar, a steering stabilizer, rear sway bar, or a track bar. We have all those options available here at etrailer.com if you want to check out those options to go with your airbags. They should be compatible, they shouldn't have any interference issues, and it's always good to get a couple things to identify the different issues in your RV. A steering stabilizer typically helps you prevent rut tracking so that your wheels are not having to fight side to side and you're not having to really fight your steering wheel to keep it stable. The sway bar is going to do kind of similar stuff to our airbags in that it's going to help to reduce sway, but it doesn't really address the ride quality problems. So if you're noticing that you're getting a lot of jarring bumps, that's where our airbags are really going to shine. That's what they're really going to improve, and again, it's going to help you to offset those sort of crooked loads. If one side seems to be leaning more than the other, this is going to help you to manually adjust that. So you're going to get everything that you see laid out here on the table. We'll get our two air springs with the upper and lower brackets, our push to connect fittings, length of air tube, and all the fittings for the Schrader valves, some heat protector sleeves to go over that 1/4-inch air hose. This is going to typically go around the areas that would be passing by your exhaust system or anything that's going to be hot, since this is going to provide a little bit of heat protection to make sure that that 1/4-inch hose doesn't melt. This is going to be the lower sort of strap brackets for our lower brackets here. Give you a couple zip ties to keep your airline up and out of the way, and then some additional hardware to get everything installed. Now these are tried and tested airbags. Air Lift is definitely a popular brand out in the market. They do a good job. These are going to give you a load leveling capacity of up to 5,000 pounds. The important thing to keep in mind with that number is that it's not going to increase the overall payload or the overall weight carrying capacity of your vehicle. It just helps to support that amount of weight. The nice thing about that is that it's going to make your OEM or your original factory equipment last longer, so all those suspension components that you have already installed on your vehicle are going to last that much longer by having an additional component to spread that weight out amongst. The other thing to keep in mind with this is that it has a lifting or a rating between 5 psi and 100 psi, so we can adjust the air pressure anywhere in between to get this dialed in and get our RV all nice and leveled out. Now this is a manually adjusting system, so you will have to actually put the air into those Schrader valves manually, either by finding a gas station somewhere, using some kind of compressor off your RV, and airing it up that way. You can also get kits that have an onboard compressor, so then it's going to keep constant pressure in your bags and you can actually adjust it from inside the cab of your RV. Those are sold separately. You can either get a single pass, which will marry those two bags together and they'll be adjusted as one, or a dual pass, which will maintain the independence side to side, so you can again keep that adjustment side to side. Those are available separately here at etrailer.com if you want to pick those up. There's also a matching or another kit for the rear of your vehicle that you can pick up as well if you want to get airbags for the rear. That part number is AL57240. Again, that's going to be rear springs for your RV. Overall, I think these do a great job. Not too much difficulty in getting these installed. There's no drilling required, so it shouldn't be too bad as far as getting these in place. It does come with a lifetime warranty and a 60-day satisfaction guarantee from Air Lift. And overall, I think this is going to help to improve your ride. Something similar that you can also consider is something like the Sumo springs. Those are going to be a solid foam spring, or the Timbren springs. The pros and cons with that is that once you put in those Sumo springs, those Timbrens, you don't have to adjust anything. They're just going to be there. They're going to help to cushion your ride, just like these, but there's no adjustability. So you're not going to be able to actually level out your load as much as you would with the airbags, but there's also no maintenance required with those springs. With our airbags, we have to make sure that we have at least that 5 psi or 5 pounds of pressure in the bags at all times to make sure that they work properly. Something to keep in mind there. An advantage with these particular air springs is that there's another kit from Air Lift that's very similar, but it has an internal jounce bumper. Some of our customers have come back to us saying that that jounce bumper actually causes a really rough ride because it can make contact with the frame and it just causes a little bit more jarring than they'd like. It can be nice if you have a constant load, so in an RV it might not be a bad thing, but that's another thing to consider there. So these do not have the internal jounce bumper, so you probably won't have any issues there. But I hope this video has been helpful in making your decision for the Air Lift rear Air Helper Springs.